Welcome to Multifamily on Zoom, and today we have our lovely guests, Rick and Rhonda Benson. So, Rick and Rhonda, I've met them. Supposedly, we are from the same community, but I never remember meeting them until about 2 years ago when I went to Waze Fest and I met Rick and Rhonda. And I think that's my first time remember really communicating to you guys and having, met with you and we talk and you guys were looking for your property. And today you guys finally materialized it. What is a big difference like 2 years have made, right? Is so very interesting. So Rick Benson has been in the construction industry for over 30 years. He started working with his family construction company, working as an equipment operator and superintendent. He received a certificate in construction management from the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA, and is currently the chief construction inspector for the City of Long Beach Harbor Department, Port of Long Beach. The port has annual construction budget between 250 to $300 million. Rick oversees 20 direct reports, multiple consultant inspectors, and material testing lab personnel. Rick recently oversaw the inspection and construction management for the Middle Harbor program, a $1.2 billion 10-year program which an aging terminal and developed it into the most automated terminal in North America. As a contractor, Rick is an expert on construction processes and specializes in underground utilities and infrastructure. He has installed utilities for school, housing track, mobile home, and RV parks. As the chief construction inspector, Rick oversees the management and construction of roads, bridges, roadways, commercial buildings, fireboat station, railroad, heavy grading, and infrastructure project. Since 2003, Rick and his wife Rhonda have been investing in single-family home, duplex, fourplex, and short-term rental in California and Texas. So, guys, welcome to Multifamily on Zoom this afternoon. We are
For
so
having us.
happy to have you guys. So, first of all, congratulations on closing Crystal Lake Campground. So before we get into the details, how does it feel to finally own your own first sport?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go.
Great. I mean, this has been a long road. We've um, decided about 3.5 years ago to go into RV park resorts, and we've been under contract a couple times on other properties that ended up falling through, and so this is finally the culmination of 3.5 long years to finally get one closed. So we're super excited about it.
Yeah, well, I agree. And it's funny because we've gotten so close on, previous parks or previous acquisitions, and something happens and it falls through. So it's a little bit deflating. So I think, we were laughing now, but as we were going through the process to get to the finish line on this one, we were like, yeah, forget it. We're not, every time we hit a valley, it's like, okay, maybe this isn't right. But we were able to hang in there, and we found an amazing property with an amazing, guests and staff, and yeah, definitely worth that.
Yeah, and it was hard. We couldn't get real excited because we've had things fall out before. So it's like we can't say, yeah, we're doing it. We're like, okay, is it gonna work? What's the next shortfall or what's the next
Right.
step? And through the process, we ended up developing a partnership with two amazing guys, Lewis Butler and Scott Keenan,
Yeah.
there, and it works really well because they're from Michigan, which is where the park is, and Lewis lives in Michigan. So, um, yeah, it was a great combination,
Yeah.
a great team. Yep.
Yep.
Yes, you really need that. You really need somebody close by. Oh, or it has to be one of you will have to be there often and you guys a little bit far away because we experienced that ourselves. I'm all the way in Atlanta. Eve is like 4.5 hours away. So it helps knowing she's there and she can just pop up there in any time. Um, but now that you guys saying that, I remember one time I went to UP and I was a little bit deflated because I'm like, okay, I've been doing all this hard work. I don't have any property. And then I had that conversation with Diane, and Diane said, really? Is that how you're feeling? Diane Bowman. And then I say, yes. She said, but are you the same person you were last year? Are you the same person when you started? So it is a process. It's not like, okay, a lot of people think I'm gonna get into this and I'm gonna get that property the next day, and then this is it. And then, well, if you do, I'm happy for you. But you may not be able because you didn't learn along the way. You didn't learn a lot of, the challenges. And those challenges, that's what's gonna get you prepared for what's down the road when you actually get a property because it's not as rosy as it looks. But it's great. It's just all I'm saying is like you're gonna have a lot of deals that do not fall, that you lose, that were in contract or whatever. But those things preparing you to get where you want to be. And I think it takes until we get there to understand that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and actually, I mean, Rhonda and I have been preparing to be an RV park owner for 3.5 years.
Wow.
We joined OHI, which is the outdoor hospitality industry, which is the national, it used to be called the National RV Park Association. We joined their program, went to the national convention in Louisville
Hmm.
this last winter. We went to Waco, which is the Wisconsin Association of RV Park Owners, in February.
Yeah.
We have work with another group and do a monthly RV park investment meetup group online. Um, Work with Bob Bowman, who you mentioned earlier, who is also an RV park owner and has developed an RV park um, underwriting
Course.
software.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we've
that is funny. That is crazy. Yeah. You guys been on that road for a while.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Unlike me, I got thrown into it. I have no intention for RV park. No intention because Eve called me. Hey, I purchased that course from Bob. Um, do you want to come? And I'm like, when? And then she told me, she said it's online. I said, okay, I guess I will attend. That was just like, I have no intention. I don't know what this lady talking about. I mean, I'm not a camper. For my entire life, I camped once. My daughter was in Girl Scout, and I remember when my daughter was much younger, a friend invited us, and that's about it. That's the only thing I know about camping, right? And then we went to that. Um, we attended it, but it was the way it was done. It was done so well, and then the next, I think it ended on Sunday. On Monday, Eve called the broker that Bob bought, and then that same Monday, the broker sent us that deal. And that's
wow.
how I got into it. But now I'm loving it though. I'm loving it. It's so funny. I got thrown into this something like that. Yes. But anyway, take us back to the beginning. Where did you first hear about this property, and what made you stop and say this is the one? If you have said that, yeah.
So yeah, this is a long story. So this park was on Parks and Places, which is a RV park brokerage. Um, so one of the things is what we were looking for. We were looking for parks that had an NOI of 250 or more. Um, we wanted it to be big enough to support a management company or staff. We were looking for water feature. And this park, it's 3 lakes, but they're all tied together. You can get to all 3 lakes with a kayak. They're all
Right.
so this park met all of our criteria, other than it was a little further away from us than we wanted. We were really trying to look in the Pacific Northwest and in California. And it's seasonal park. So those were the two kind of things that we kind of a detractor, but it had everything else and no online reservations, mom and pop run. They weren't monetizing a lot of the um, resources they had, and they were under market value on the rents. So all those things aligned. So it went on the market, and I immediately called the broker and said we're interested in putting in an offer. And 2 days later, he calls me back and says they've already accepted an offer. And I'm like, in 2 days? I'm like, that's pretty quick for commercial property. And then it ended up, so I put in a backup offer, full price offer. Um, and it fell out of contract. And then, so then the owners wanted to talk to us, and they were very interested on who was going to be taking over the property. And
Mhm.
um, they weren't very impressed with us being from California and doing syndication. They told me they wanted somebody that was local in Michigan that's going to live on property and raise their kids there, raise a family like they did. They built this whole
Like they
park.
do. Yeah.
It was a vacant lot when they bought it. Um, so they decided to go with a different buyer this time,
Hmm.
and that one fell out of contract again. So then Rhonda and I were on our way to the Ojai conference in Louisville in November, and we're like, hey, let's leave early and stop by the park. So we did that, went and met the owners, talked to them, hung out with them for about 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Um, the owner's wife, she did a lot of the um, woodwork and finishes in the house. So she was very, emotionally attached to it and a big animal lover. And Rhonda is a big animal lover. So they made a connection, and then um, they decided to go ahead and go under contract with us.
Yep. And
Wow.
yeah, it took
Second time.
yeah. Well, actually, I think no, that was the third.
Yeah, third time.
Yeah,
Well,
third time was a charm, but I definitely believe that us getting on a plane, completely unscripted, made a huge difference, in that because it's one thing to, it's like we're faceless until we actually get to meet, regardless of Zoom or any sort of technology. And it definitely made a difference to get there and be in front of them, with no agenda other than getting, having them get to know us and vice versa. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would do
That
I would
you
do
I,
that
I
every
agree with
time
that.
moving forward.
Yes, I totally agree. When people get to meet you, there's something that there's the energy shifts. It's just like, yes, we are on Zoom here. Technology is great. A lot of time we cannot meet in person, but sometimes we have to find a time and make things personal, And they say that on LinkedIn all the time. You're gonna meet a lot of people on LinkedIn if you post on LinkedIn, but you have to take it to the next level where you actually start meeting. I remember uh Maurice Phallogene, um that used to be part of iMentor. I met him to iMentor. He used to say that all the time because he's huge on LinkedIn. He's big influencer on LinkedIn. So he always say, hey guys, I mean, it doesn't cost a lot to just take a plane and go meet with somebody. You never know. The investor you'll meet, the people will invest into your deal by just meeting them alone. So yes, you're right on that. You just nail it on the head like that. So why an RV park? You guys say you've been on that journey for 2.5 years. Why not multifamily property, which is what most investors are looking for, or any other commercial asset?
Well, we did RV a multifamily. We owned some properties in San Antonio, and we got really fortunate with the property that our first property that we owned there because it was in a high traffic area right near the Riverwalk, and we just kind of fell into it, and that was great. But I'll speak for myself. There was something missing. I don't know, multifamily for me feels very transactional, I guess, which is fine. And I feel like when I spend as much of my time doing something, it's got to have more to it than just feel like I'm going to the supermarket and picking up, some lunch meat. You know what I mean? And Rick grew up camping with his family. He's got four siblings. So, the family of seven, those were their vacations. Excuse me, always camping. I didn't do a lot of camping until Rick and I got together. As a matter of fact, we just had our 22nd wedding anniversary yesterday.
Oh, happy
And
belated anniversary.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And, he kind of got me, into camping. We started off camping in, a tent, which, wasn't I didn't realize how unideal it was until we got our trailer. But just over these are the vacations that we took. This is what we did with our daughter. We can take our dogs, and every time we go to a campground, we were constantly looking at it, like saying, if we own this, what would we do differently? Right? And then after a while of, being, owning multifamily properties, we just decided, why don't we invest in someplace that we would want to go and be, and there's also, I think, the social aspect for me, which probably drives Rick a little bit crazy sometimes because he never gets dinner until like way late at night if we're
Yes.
at the campground.
Well, that is so true. I purposely asked you guys this question because a lot of people think people who go into RV are people who, desperate. We cannot get into multifamily. And we're like, are you serious? So I'm glad that you say that because we have what did we have here? Not too long ago, we have Tyler Eman, and he was talking. I mean, we know he's a very young gentleman, but he is into the RV park and assisted living. But he said the same thing you guys said, and I am experiencing the same thing. I mean, if you know me, I'm a big social bug. The fun of talking to the guests and going around, and like you said, whenever we have events and I am there, I ended up ending really late because I'm spending all this time with the guests. It's so much fun. You don't have that opportunity in multifamily. You don't have to talk to your guests. You don't have, them talking to you and also giving you feedback and all that kind of energy going on. It's different. I don't know how to put it in words.
It is very different. Quite honestly, it's like in all the multifamily properties that we owned, we had management companies handle it and we were arm's length. It's like
Yes.
I don't, I didn't want that interaction necessarily directly with the tenants, but here, it's very different. It's like you want to make sure that, your guests know who you are,
Yes.
and if you're doing things around the park, it's like it's nice to know, especially, for us being this new transition for this particular park. I mean, we were out planting flowers and touching up paint on what seemed like little things to us, but things that we saw when we first saw the park. you
Right,
know,
right,
and
right,
it's like
right.
just little things, and you have the guests walking up and saying, wow, thank you so much. It's like just that little thing made a huge difference.
Yeah, actually, it was hard to get any work done because everybody wanted to come up and talk to you.
Yeah,
It's like I'll be out putting flowers in a flower bed or something, and everybody's stopping to talk to me. And um, people come by, brought us dinner one night
yeah, because we
from
we
the
were work.
campsite. They
Yeah,
bring us drinks and snacks.
yeah. Yeah, it was really funny. We had, one of our staffers is also a seasonal there, and so his family's always there, and they knew that, sometimes we were so busy we weren't getting to eat anything until probably 9 o'clock at night. And so I kept saying, my son made dinner. He's a great cook. Come, come, and it's like, okay, we'll be there. And 20 minutes later, his son and daughter-in-law come to us, with this full meal, which was amazing. But that's camping. That's, it's family, it's community. And honestly, that I don't think I'll ever go back to owning multifamily again.
Well, I'm a numbers guy. I'll go back.
Yeah, I've heard some people say that. Yes, I'm with Rick. I'm with Rick. But yes, and I think if going the Rwanda's out, but I'm with Rick.
Yeah. That's okay. That's
Yeah.
what, we divide and conquer.
Right. Yes, I totally agree. When I'm up there at the Loma, I will wake up early and run because if I don't do that, people gonna stop me and want to talk and all the kids. But it's so much fun that you don't feel some type of way about it. And I am the person who's always out there trying to hear what they have to say about the park, especially the weekend warriors. These people, they know that park so much longer than you have. And they've been coming here. I mean, they can give you the history and the way to know the property and the full history of the property is to be with those people, the weekend warriors, because they will tell you who owned the park before so and so and before so and so and before so and so and what was he and what was done and all kind of stuff. The stories of their children and their grandchildren and stuff like that. So it is such a different type of asset class. I mean, yeah. What did you see in this property that others may have overlooked?
I kind of touched a little bit on it, but for me, there's four things that really were driving. One, the no online reservations. Um, right now, 74% of RV campers book online, so that was a huge factor. Two, the water. We're looking at bringing in and doing an inflatable water park and renting more water toys and driving day passes where people can come in and use the water park uh, for the day. They don't have any food service, so we're going to be ramping up and doing basic stuff like hot dogs and pizza.
Right,
Um, just easy stuff. They only have two very rustic cabins. Um, so we're going to bring in additional cabins so the people that don't have RVs can still enjoy the space. The
right,
other one is the owner's home is a 5 bedroom, 3 story, beautiful home right on the lake, and it's apart from the park that we're going to convert to an Airbnb. And we're figuring we could host reunions, family reunions, large families, wedding parties, could do wedding ceremonies right there on the lake.
right.
Um, so yeah, lots of opportunity that at least that's what I saw. I don't know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. There's just a lot of things that weren't being utilized or monetized. Um, and it was really just like a diamond in the rough, I would say. And it was already cash flowing just, at the level it was at.
Yeah, well, and one of the things you could tell was the owners probably at least if you look at their Facebook page and you look at their online presence, about 5 years ago they were done. There was a change in what they were posting and what they were doing. So we figure there's an opportunity
Mm,
there.
absolutely.
Mm. And one thing about RV park too is the sky's the limit. There's so much. You can have retreats for companies. You can have weddings. It's so much things you can do. I mean, it goes from kayaking, fishing. I mean, you bring everybody can be part of this, whatever they like. People like to go hiking, so there's so much opportunities to
Yeah, and
work up
Ash,
with revenue.
yeah, one of the things I've noticed is so we closed July 10th, which is the worst time to close. You know, we were thought we were going to close in April before the park opened, and there were some challenges and things got pushed. But one thing I noticed is every weekend that since we've owned the park, there's been family reunions
Yeah.
at the park. And the first weekend when Rhonda and I were back there was a group that's been going there for 15 plus years
Yeah.
and 250 people at this
Yeah,
reunion. And they come back every year. They've already got a book for next year.
right.
Um, so this is their tradition, their family tradition, and they're going to keep coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So when it comes to due diligence, if here's the term, but what does that actually mean? Walk us through your due diligence process from day one for that property.
So it doesn't vary much from apartment buildings. What our process is, the first thing we do is look at the financial due diligence before we spend any money. We want to get their P&Ls, their updated bank statements, their tax returns, all the paper document, make sure I have all the permits in place. You know, I'll reach out to the assessor's office, checking on taxes or tax liens, talk to insurance companies, get quotes for insurance. So we do all that, try to do that in the first 30 days. Um, and sometimes with RV park, it's not, if anybody here is familiar with doing multifamily, these are more regimented, um, industrial style um, assets where they have a P&L. It's really beautiful. It breaks it down by month. You don't get that with an RV park. You get you know their categories aren't necessarily tracked correctly, or it's just one year. They don't even break it down per month. So sometimes for me, it was very important to go back and look at bank statements over the past few years and see if the bank statements aligned with what the P&Ls were saying. So, and so we went back 3 years, and they all were consistent with the P&Ls over the last 3 years. So that was the
Mhm.
first thing I look for.
And for what was most difficult part of that is I think I've spoken to a lot of park owners, is oftentimes we're buying these parks from mom and pop, ownership. So their bookkeeping may not always be the type of bookkeeping, like Rick said, that we're looking at in multifamily. And if they're older, they may not be very tech savvy. I mean, I got a lot of screenshots of bank statements and different bits of information, just because the owner wasn't familiar with how to create a PDF from a file. So I think it probably took us about 2 or 3 months, roughly, just to get all of the financial due diligence
Yeah,
paperwork.
they were physically giving us hard copies and mailing them to us.
Yeah, we got a FedEx.
So we knew right there, I said to Rhonda, I go, if this is the way they run their business, we got to be able to make some money. And
Yes.
I really suspect, and we'll figure it out as we go. But I think there was a lot more cash coming in that wasn't hitting the books. But we don't count on that, and we don't put it in our underwriting.
Right.
And I think that's common with a lot of these parks. Um, it was. Let me backtrack a little bit too. We had some challenges just getting it under contract, even after we met with them. We sent them a contract that we had developed. We had a lawyer look at it. We sent it to them, and the owner goes, "I'm not signing this contract." I'm like, "Okay, what's the problem?" He goes, "It's 27 pages." I'm like, "Okay, is there certain things in here you don't like?" He goes, "No, it's 27 pages. I'm not going to read it." We're like, "Okay." So then he had the brokerage send us their contract, And by the time we got done with it, it was 24 pages. And he says, I'm not, and he goes,
Yeah.
I'm not using a lawyer. Um,
Don't like lawyers.
don't like lawyers. They just steal your money. And we're like,
Yeah.
okay. So there were some challenges through this whole process with, with this couple, just because they were more old school. And, he's like, I've done deals on a cocktail napkin. It's like,
Yeah.
well, we have investors. We have to make sure that they're
That's
protected, and we have
different. Yes, that is different. So I think what I want to add to what you guys say is so true because RV park owners, most of them are mom and pop. You're not gonna get all that structured, well organized. It takes a while and you need to be patient to get all the information. But ours was with a lawyer. The guy is a big time lawyer in California, very tech savvy and know all this stuff. Nevertheless, we still went through the same thing you guys talking about. Little piece of paper here, little like, and I'm like, Eve, how you look at all these things? It's like, little things because the way they run it, it's not running a way where it's well organized, where they have everything. And like you say, it's mom and pop. Nobody holding them accountable. It's not like us who are running syndications. So it's different. Let's just put it that way. If you don't have the patience, if you don't have the time to go over all those little details, make sure because whatever they send you, not gonna those bank statements say a lot. That saves you a lot of headache to see if that property is actually bringing revenue, is profitable. So, yes, I totally agree on that one. So, what were the biggest surprises, if there were surprises, you uncovered during inspection?
Um, the biggest surprise was that there used to be a railroad spur that ran through the property. Let me backtrack. Um, the property used to be a gravel and sand and gravel quarry, and that's why the lakes are there because those were the pits where they were mining the sand and gravel. And there's natural springs, so they filled with water. So we knew that it was a old quarry. Um, the park they bought the owner's dad bought it in 88, I think, just vacant land. And then they bought it from his dad in 94, and then they built the park in 2006. So it's been quite a while since it's ever been a quarry. But so when we were doing our Alta survey, our phase one investigations, there was a satellite photo of, well, I guess not satellite because I have satellites, and an aerial photo in 1943 that showed a railroad spur going through the property all the way through and then going up north that's in other properties and some type of big processing equipment there. So our environmental group said we needed to go out and do soil samples. So it cost us $15,000 to get a drill rig out there to do the testing. This is very late into our due diligence phase. So we expedited the soil sample testing so we can get the results quickly. And it ended up that there was xylene. Xylene was slightly higher on one test, but it was 10 feet down, and it has no impact on anybody's. The state of Michigan says that's acceptable, but we have to file another report. So that cost us another $4,000 to file that report. We had to ask for a time extension because of this testing, and the owner wasn't happy about that. We're like, we didn't know there were railroad tracks here. So, um, so that was challenging, and we were worried because if it came up dirty, we would have lost all the money that we've put into the due diligence process.
Yeah.
Because we wouldn't have closed on the park. So that was very stressful.
Yeah. Yeah, but did the owner know about the railroad track?
He claimed he did not. Um, I'm not sure if he did or not because we had his ground penetrating radar go out there and test, and it appears that the tracks are still there and buried. And I can't see how he could have put in all the infrastructure and not come across them. So,
Wow, interesting.
but at least now we're good. We have a signed off. So if we ever, when we go to sell a property, everything's is buttoned up. So that's again, when you have investors, you have to make sure you're protecting your investors so they don't lose their money.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
one of the other challenges we had was Michigan had a crazily cold winter this year. So we actually had to do a bit of a time extension because we couldn't go and do our physical inspections because they couldn't turn the water back on. They turned it off in the winter. The property still had snow on it. Um, so three things set us back from our closing in April. One was the how long it took them to get us all the documents for due diligence. Second was the weather to do our inspections, and third was the railroad tracks. So we should have closed in April, right when the park was getting ready to open. Instead, we closed July 10th, which is the busiest time of the year, and we're losing revenue. The farther into
In
the
the
summer we
midst of
go.
everything,
Yes.
you're
Yeah.
changing owners and it's a lot going on there. Yes, I get that. So let's get to financing. Um, how difficult was financing this acquisition was for you?
So interesting enough, so when there's a RV park broker, loan broker that I was referred to 2 or 3 years ago. He does Wisconsin and Michigan areas. Um, and I was referred by a broker to him and had a couple of conversations. And then I reached out to him slightly after that time, and I got a bounce back that he no longer worked at that company. So I kind of lost touch with him. Well, then we went to the Waco conference, this was Wisconsin Association of RV Park Owners, and he was there. So we started talking to him again. And so his name's Phil Whitehead. So if you're looking for any properties in that area in the Midwest, he's a good resource.
Resource, yeah.
Um, yeah. So um, we reached out to several different banks. We were looking at doing SBA loans as well, but our timeline wasn't going to work for SBA. Um,
Yeah.
we've already extended our timeline a couple times, like I mentioned, and the owners were getting frustrated and they weren't going to let us extend for an SBA. So we went with Phil. They're a local bank called Lake Ridge Bank, and part I think part of it was interesting because kind of built a rapport with him at the conference. And I have another friend that also has a portfolio of parks, and he was working with Phil on another property, and he ended up not going with Phil. But Phil wanted a huge down payment for some reason. So then I asked Phil about it, and he goes, "Oh, well, they were doing owner financing, so they weren't putting any money in. The owner was going to carry a second, so he wanted a big down payment to secure." So I'm like, so is that we're not going to ask for that from you guys. Um, and it was interesting because they actually got on a call with Rhonda and I and our two partners, Lewis and Scott, and we spent an hour with him and his boss. They wanted to learn about us, learn about our experiences, what our visions were, what our background was. And I thought that was interesting because most banks just look at, numbers.
Yeah.
So I guess we impressed them because we got the loan from them. Um, the interest rate went up from what our terms sheet was, basically because of the war in Iran. All the interest rates were going up, so it was a little bit higher. We went from a 6.6 to a 6.9. Um, but all in all, everything worked.
Yeah.
It was a good experience.
Wow. Yes. Well, I'm glad for you to break it down for us because I think a lot of people do not, especially aspiring operators, they don't understand what goes on acquiring a deal because those things you can't be taught. Nobody can teach you that. Like theory is one thing, but going to the real life, the reality of a deal, there's no book that has that in it. So you're definitely gonna have to use your past experiences, your business acumen, and you know, and trying to get there. And that's all you can do. And you're gonna take that forward with you as managing the park. Managing a park and having uh an apartment is different. Apartment usually your the property management, like Wanda was saying, does everything for you. But when you have a park, especially your first park, you want to know things. That's how you're gonna learn, and there's a lot of things to learn. Uh,
I could
when
tell you that, yeah, we've done, smaller multifamily and stuff, and we never did a syndication. We were just with friends and family. But I was shocked about how much more challenging, how much more work the process was to get through this whole thing. It just,
Yeah.
and we couldn't have done it without our two partners. Um, One of our partners, Scott, is a finance major and has worked with other companies acquiring small boutique hotels. So he's never owned any properties himself, but he's worked with companies
Mhm.
acquiring them. So he was very good on the finance and um, the banking side of it.
Mhm.
And then our other partner, Lewis, is a business owner and has managed seasonal businesses, boat detailing and cleaning in Michigan area. So he understands the operations side, and Lewis is a genius with AI. That's one thing you guys all have to do. We could not have done this without AI.
Yeah.
We are so heavily involved with AI now. I have Claude, I have Chat GPT, I got Manus. We got another one called Core Brain that
Right.
I pay for all these things on a monthly subscription. I literally run everything through one or multiple AIs as we're going through the process to even just ask a question like what documents would I need for this and um, if you're not using AI, you're behind. You need to start using it.
yes, AI is, you have to know AI. You have to use AI because it helps you go through a lot of things, a lot of documents, a lot of things you need to prepare and you're not used to. And you can ask those questions. And like you said, having those little subscription really help. Not too long ago, I took a class. I mean, I've been using ChatGPT for a long time, but Claude, I haven't touched Claude. But I went ahead class with Tony Oben and Dean Gaciosi. And I'm glad I did because I didn't know the fundamentals. And then trying to create agents and all this kind of stuff. So now everything makes sense for me. I was doing a lot of stuff. I was just playing, right? Like a kid playing in a river or doing something. But now I do have the understanding why I'm doing this and where this is taking me. So I'm not in the beginning. I was like with AI, I was like, okay, my assistant will help me, my VAs will help me, and that kind of thing. But it gets to the point now, so you're gonna have to sit down and learn this and use it. So it's been 2 years I've been on a journey, but I finally made it right about 3 months ago when I took that course. So yeah, it's definitely really, really, really needed. So I am not gonna go too much into the financing because I think you touched um a lot of it. But if you have to counsel someone that's buying an RV park today, what should they know now to become finance ready?
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit, and
On the
Oh,
first part of that
I'm sorry.
question. That's okay.
okay.
I'm sorry. I say if you have to counsel someone who's interested into buying an RV park, what would you tell them to be finance ready? What do you think they should know to do to get finance ready?
So if you're new, 100% get a sponsor.
Yeah.
Find somebody that has done this before. It doesn't have to be RV parks, but someone that's done multifamily, is familiar with commercial loans. Um, we had a sponsor that backed out on us, and we had to pivot and um, kind of not. We kind of did it differently, where we didn't really have a sponsor. We kind of just brought in our business partners and just worked together. But we've had some experience doing this in the past, but um, even with our past experience, I wouldn't be able to have done it without our business partners. Just good. They have strengths that I don't.
Mhm.
Um, and I'll be honest with you, I'm more of operations and construction when it comes to the financing and parts. That's where Scott shined, and so it was a real good partnership. But 100% find somebody that's done this before
Yeah.
that can help you, at least with your first one.
Absolutely, because there's so many things. I mean, I've been a real estate, agent and broker in residential real estate for almost 15 years now. And we've been investors in residential properties for 20 years. And when buying an RV park isn't like buying your normal piece of real estate, because there's that whole hospitality business part of it. And that is, I mean, if you've never done it, it's a different breed. And I have to, just echo what Rick said. It's like there are certain things that Scott and Lewis brought to the table that we were very blessed that they were a part of our team, because we wouldn't, I mean, they would have flown up and, certain things and just kind of had hit us in the back of the head. But because of their experience, they understood it. So I would highly, highly recommend, at least one person on your team would be helpful if they had a little hospitality background.
And again, as far as financing for RV parks, you got to remember there's not as many brokers that will loan on them. Um,
True.
you have to have typically they're going to be looking for 30% down, um, and they're typically a recourse loan. So,
Yes, that
so
is
that's a
true.
little different from multifamily.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, that is, you're right on it because it's different. You have to find the right lenders, and then you have to understand like, well, you may get a little bit more if you go the SBA route. SBA may give you 90%, and if you have a store, like the operation, they will help on that too. But then again, you have to consider SBA is a longer route. Um, as far as the waiting for you to close. So you have to do your due diligence regarding these things. So we're almost at the end of it. This was so much fun doing this and negotiation. I think you guys touch on that. I'm not gonna push too much into it. But tell me about the moment you thought this deal isn't going to happen and how that makes you so scared and like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose my money. I think you touch a little bit about the way I would.
I want to take that one first. I want to take that one first because I don't. There are a couple of people I see that know us a
Right.
little bit on this call, and eh, like Rick is the rock of our relationship. Rick is the even keel. If you can't control it, no need to stress about it. Like that's him. Whereas I am emotional and passionate and woo, constantly. Um, So there, because this is something that we've been working towards for so long, and it's like every deal, we just got a little bit closer, a little bit closer, a little bit closer, and something would happen. And so when I stepped foot on this property, I knew this is the one. This is absolutely the property for us. It was the way it felt, the people we met, the lake. I'm a total water person, but so see the passion. Uh, well, now, so, but Rick, like I always joke because he's got a high tolerance for pain and stress, right? So this is a guy who could like get his arm caught in a wood chipper and find some super glue and duct tape and figure it out, right? So when he does get a little bit stressed, I worry a lot more because it's like the level of stress for him to show it must be like where my head would have just popped off already, right? So towards the end, it was like I was like, whoever you pray to, God, Buddha, the pumpkin fairy, whatever. It's like, please, please do not let this fall apart because I do not know what I'm gonna do with this man if it does.
Yeah, I was definitely more stressed than I can remember. And for me, it's just because it was something I is not tangible. It wasn't something I could physically fix. Even right up to the end, raising the capital, we we raised enough to close, and we have a little bit extra.
Yeah,
So
Right.
we're still raising capital for the improvements. But right up to the last week,
yeah.
we had commitments, but they hadn't come in yet, and we're like, and the owners are like, "This is it. We're not giving you another extension." I'm like, "We're gonna be like 50 grand short. We're gonna do it." Um, but luckily, we got a couple more investors to come in and
Yeah.
got us to that point. We have a couple of other investors that are interested in investing quite a bit of money, but they needed more time. They're not going to just
Yes.
jump in. So we're still working
Yeah.
on those investors.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was super stressful for me.
Yes. Yes. Especially when they know it's your first for this asset class, it's your first time and lately investors are a little bit, and for the right reason, right? So I understand this. It is a whole kind of like you throw yourself into a game and every day so different things you have to deal with. And that's why partnership is there. And I keep on telling people, if you're thinking of this alone, you're not thinking right. There is no way you can because there are some days where your whole confidence is gone, and that other person is the person gonna pick you up and say, "Hey, we here. We're gonna go. Let's go." And you can breathe over that person's shoulder to continue the road. But if you're trying to do it by yourself, when you hit those moments, you may not get up. You may get up the next day. By then, the deal is gone.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. I have to say, our
So,
partner Lewis, I think at the end was that person, because it was like Rick said, it's like we were, just shy of what we needed to actually close escrow. And, Lewis, I think the three of us, Rick, Scott, and myself, were like, and Lewis is like, nope, let's do this. And he's like making plans for like 3 months down the line of what we're going to do. I'm like, we got it. We got it's like 3 months may not matter, but you're absolutely right, Susie. It's like you have like having those different, personality types, on your team to make sure that, somebody's always got to be up. We can't always be, uh, worried or stressed about the same things at the same time, I guess. That's what I'm trying to
yes,
say.
it's golden. Yes. Um, what mindset shift helped you from dreaming about, you know what? I'm gonna hold on to that question. Let's go to something else. Many people watching are still waiting for their first deal. What's holding most investors,
So,
from your opinion?
well, yeah, for us, um, we tried to do it on our own for a long time, and we were doing small, like I said, small multifamily and short-term rentals. But we got to a point where we were out of money and our friends were all in, so we couldn't scale. We couldn't move on. So that's when we started really investing, got the mentorship with our mentor, um, and um, built relationships with people that have been working and doing this. Um, and and it took a while to build those relationships and build their confidence in us. Um, so that's kind of what and it still took us 5 years.
Yeah.
Because at first we were trying to do large scale multifamily, but it was just the wrong time.
Yeah.
Anybody that's in the multifamily world understands that. Um, so for us, it was at least for me, it was surrounding myself with other people that have done this and have succeeded. And even during this process, when we were like, are we going to get the money? What's happening? I called up a few of people, Roman, I see he's on the call. Him and I
Hey,
talked.
Roman.
And he's like, yeah, he goes, yeah, every deal's like this. And Danny
Yeah,
Flores, he goes, oh, Danny Flores is like,
look at this.
every deal's like this.
You will catch me with this one.
So yeah, it was a mindset just by getting in the room with the right people for me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, agreed. And relationships are everything.
Everything.
Relations and genuine
Everything.
relationships.
Yes, yes.
You
You have to
know,
be really upfront. You have to be authentic. And that's why I tell people that all the time. And you found that family. And those people is the time when you want to cry, you can go cry on their shoulders. Those people, hey, I'm having that bottleneck right here. What is it? Like, okay, what you think I should do? But you need to have that for you to run. You can't run to those people only when you have issues. You have to be
exactly.
always checking on people. And I tell people go into conferences.
Mhm.
Like this year, I cannot take a seat back, but I'm the type of person, I mean, you don't know who you're going to meet at conferences. You never know. So, guys, build those relationship on LinkedIn, build those relationship on conferences. Yes, I know you go to our mentor. At one point, I started going to our mentor, and then 3 years later, I started going to other conferences and see what other people doing. And my eye was like, oh, wow, they're doing things so much different. So there are different crowds out there, and you need to go around to understand what's going on. And that's why I met you guys as Race Fest. It was my first time. For 3 years, I've been wanting to go to Race Fest, but that was my first there. So yes, definitely. A little fun, lightning round, we called it. Okay, you guys gonna answer this question, each one of you, okay? And then we're gonna finish because we're right there at the top of the hour. Coffee or campground?
I don't drink
Which
coffee.
one for you? Coffee? What about you
Coffee,
on that? Oh, okay.
coffee.
Biggest surprise after becoming campground owners.
The fact that a lot of the seasonals re-up their contracts for 2 years after we bought it.
Yeah, we
How about
raised
how about you, Rick?
yeah, we raised their rates over 20%, and they were happy to sign up. I thought we were going to get a lot more pushback.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
other thing, I tell people, which other asset class you can find that where people give you the money way ahead of time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that's the part a lot of investors do not understand. So there's so much way to bring money, to get revenue into this business. It's crazy. Um, One thing no one tells you about owning an RV resort.
That somebody might actually show up camping with their pet raccoons.
That was last weekend.
Yeah, that was last weekend. Yeah, that was a first.
And they thought that was normal.
Yeah.
That is too funny. Favorite amenity at Crystal Lake.
I'm like,
Yeah, 100% the lakes. Yeah.
I thought that's what you guys gonna say. For me, it's the river. I will go in that river, take a cold plunge every morning when I'm there. Was they doing the acquisition?
what was that? I'm sorry.
The worst day doing the acquisition.
Oh, the worst day during
There were so many.
this is a good question. I would I think for me it was when we found out about that railroad spike because we were so close to the finish line that we
Right,
were, that we were like trying to allow ourselves some grace and to feel good about where we were in the process. And it was, and yeah, because it could have gone either way.
Yeah, and
true.
also when our spots are backed out on us,
Yeah,
that was a tough day
that
too.
was tough. That was tough. But, um, yeah, but we were able to bounce back from that very quickly, you know.
Right,
So,
right. And that's
yeah.
another thing you should expect too, and get yourself ready. And that's why I tell people try to get yourself because we didn't have a sponsor either. But when we tried to reach to a couple sponsor, they were saying our park was too small. And even I will look at each other and say, why are we looking for sponsors? We can do this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we call the bank.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Best day. Go ahead, Rick. You were saying something.
I would say even with our park, which is larger than yours, we were still getting it's too small.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Best day doing the acquisition.
Closing day.
Yeah. This one I guessed it.
Closing day because it was tangible at that point.
Right,
Well, yeah,
right, right.
yeah, I purposely didn't let myself get excited going up to that day because we've had so many setbacks even
Yeah.
on other properties of like, okay, what's going to come next? There's going to be something that's going to get us. So just like, okay, when they finally signed the documents, we're like, okay, now we're good.
Yeah.
One word that describes the entire journey for you guys.
Exhilarating.
Hey, I was gonna say that. I totally was.
Gotta be quicker.
But yes, I echo that.
Yes, that's right. Well, thank you so much, Rick and Rhonda. Is someone join us today? And 6 months from now, they standing where you are, holding the keys of your first RV park, RV resort. What is the one piece of advice you hope they remember from today's conversation?
That was to us.
Yes. So is somebody watching this on
Oh yeah,
YouTube
yeah, yeah.
later on? So what is the one thing you want them to walk away from that conversation we just had right now?
That they can do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to believe in yourself, build a team, but be prepared.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, definitely be prepared, do your homework. I think that and don't give up. If it's something that you really want, whether it's in your heart or in your wallet, this is kind of one of those that has to be a little bit of both. Um, just keep going, just keep going.
Yes, I echo
Absolutely.
that. I echo that because there's gonna be some days where you very low, all the way hitting the floor, but if you still have that faith, you'll keep on moving forward. And you guys
Absolutely.
all know that, all of you investors here, I mean, you've been into deals that fall and but to go forward, you just have to pick up the pieces and just keep going. Yeah. So Rhonda and Rick, please put your information in the chat. Somebody want to reach out, you guys still raising money. You may as well pitch about it right here, like how to reach you and how they can get more information if they would like to invest.
Yep.
yeah, so we're still raising for the capital improvements. We're adding cabins, inflatable water park, food like we talked about. We're actually going to add uh, convert 17 sites to full hookups that are going to be lakefront, and then we're going to convert 10 sites to full hookups. One thing we've already noticed is we're completely booked out every weekend, except for the tent sites. So we're going to go and add utilities to those tent sites, and we'll book those out for sure as well. Um, Golf carts, we finally got our golf cart delivery this week, and within 12 hours, we're started with just 5 carts, or proof of concept. Within 12 hours,
Yes.
without even advertising, we booked
They're
out for
all
the
gone.
weekend.
Yes.
So, it just
Right.
proves that, yeah, the concept is
Yeah, they
working.
like the golf cart. Yeah, they like it. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much, guys. Once again, congratulations on your new journey. And I know you guys gonna enjoy it. And next year, you guys gonna start right there in April to start the season.
Yep.
And
Hmm.
which I know you guys gonna start getting ready as soon as you close this one. It's a long journey, but it's also a beautiful, beautiful journey. I mean, I'm experiencing it myself. Like going to the park, talking to your guests. It's like he has 2 prongs. You helping investors, we also helping people build memories. I mean, you're doing both at the
Absolutely.
same time. So I'm always looking at it. Look at that little girl coming from Haiti and able to do that, right? We all can do it. So I mean, you guys have no idea how exciting I was for you when you guys say you close on that property.
Yeah, and I appreciate your, yeah, well, I posted that we closed, and you were on the phone right away calling us,
Yeah.
congratulating us. So
Yeah. Thank
we
you so
appreciate that.
much. We have
Yes,
it's important to have a community, all of us.
right.
It really is. And, we're grateful for you and for Roman, and I can't see who else may be here that we've have been close with, but it makes a huge difference. Yeah.
Yes, yes. All
Yeah.
right. So thank you so much. And I will let you guys, I don't know if you guys connected with Tyler Raymond. Tyler has some property. He has 2 big parks. I think they're about like, I don't know, 300 um site. He's a young man and his dad is Mark Raymond. Mark used to be a radiologist. They were at UP. So
Okay.
you guys should
Oh
connect
yeah,
with them.
Tyler. Yeah,
Yeah,
we know Tyler.
Tyler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah,
So
he's in New York.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, he's in New York. Yeah. So anyway, um, just kind of connect with other people. And I know you guys are part of an association and all that. And for everybody here, if you're interested into RV Park, so now you know where to reach out. It's not only Bob Bowman doing this. I know a lot of us follow his steps. And Bob is a wealth of knowledge as well. You can reach out to that guy anytime. I've never seen Bob say no ever. And I will say next week we having, by the way, I think it's Mark Raymond, Tyler Dad will be here next
Okay.
Oh,
week. And
great.
if you ever want to be in our podcast, our webinar, just let us know. We don't only do real estate, we also bring people that are talking, because the guy we had last week, he also have a way you can get tiny house and the government pay for them um as well. And if you have something like an RV park. So yes, guys, keep doing what you're doing, and we'll be next week. We here every Saturday at 2 p.m. And if that's the first time you're here, please make sure you go on our channel, the YouTube channel. I still have stuff I haven't gotten into there, but we're trying to transfer everything we have done for the past. In September will be 4 years and at MOZ Multifamily on Zoom. So thank you so much for being here. And
Thank you
sorry
for
for
having
today,
us.
we kind of go a little bit over. We usually don't, but that tells you how powerful that conversation was. And thank you to everyone.
All right. Thank you,
Bye,
Thank you
guys.
everyone.
all.
Have
Thank
a
you,
great
Rhonda.
rest of your weekend.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.